All right, hey Glow Getters, welcome back to another episode of the Glow Collective. I'm your host, Dr. V, and get ready for another powerful episode. So how many of you have felt that powerful soul connection upon meeting someone for the first time? You know, when two souls have known each other and are walking similar journeys just in different locations and time. Now, this is how I felt when I heard about our guest that we're having on today. Now, please join me in welcoming our guest, Dr. Nicole Freels. She is an owner and CEO of Lexington Podiatry and a pioneer in the field of podiatry. She's also a self-starter and an entrepreneur and a masterful powerhouse of a human being with a knack for creativity, growth, and empowerment. Now, as an industry leader and innovator, Dr. Freels has changed the face of podiatry with her dedication to patient care, progress, and with her entrepreneurial spirit. And this is really where we connected. She's also a YouTube superstar with her channel Lexington Podiatry that has nearly 250,000 subscribers and 66 million views. Now, recently, Dr. Freels launched her own skincare line focused on foot care, which she calls Modpod, while managing a busy practice. She continues to expand her offerings and ventures, and this was just a pure pleasure to get to spend time connecting with someone whose journey seems very similar to mine. Now, in this episode, I had the greatest opportunity to discuss Dr. Freels' real authenticity of herself while being in the position and role of her job, and how she manages being grounded while carrying the numerous responsibilities at work and with patient care. We also talked about how to ground and reconnect with yourself in between a hectic work schedule. And as a businesswoman with her own medical practice, Dr. Freels shares her business management tips of how to pick yourself up amidst failures in the management of independent business. Now, this episode is filled with shared laughter, grounding, knowledge, and just so many relatable experiences. And I know you will love this one. So get ready to unleash your potential and unleash your glow. All right, guys. So welcome to the next episode of the Glow Collective. I'm your host, Dr. V. And on today's episode, we have Dr. Freels on, Nicole Freels from Lexington Podiatry. Please welcome her.
Yay!
So we'll get started with your first question. So why don't you introduce yourself for our Glow Getters? Just tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I do a little bit of everything, I'm coming to find. So my specialty obviously is podiatry, foot and ankle, but I have a lot of other interests. I'm really into health and nutrition, and because obviously that relates to pain. So when people come in and they're overweight, I'm like not just treating, so you have a tear in your tendon. I'm like, let's put all this together. Let me get you on the right path to maybe lose some weight and talk about some other things that we can do. We're actually adding that to the website as a full nutrition program, so they can sign up for that and get one-on-one guidance at home to be able to
I love that.
To full circle. So yeah, but I have a lot of other things, like to be creative, anything.
Yeah, do tell.
So of course,
similar.
I know, right? We are two peas in a pod. So of course, my new line just launched, Modpod, Modern Podiatrist, because it really fit, my personality. A lot of people think podiatrists are old guys.
Yeah.
Like that we're all looking like a grandpa, and it's just not the case. There's a lot of young women coming out in this space now. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to build a brand really around targeting people that are getting rid of that old notion and that are interested in foot care and kind of getting rid of the, what's the word for it? The notion. Getting rid of the notion.
It is a facade of how people view it. It's an old paradigm.
I know. I'm getting rid of the stereotype.
Yeah,
and creating and blazing a new path for podiatrists.
And I love that, because I'll be honest, when I think of podiatry or previously, I think an older Caucasian male wearing glasses and let's see your foot here.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking like progressive, modern, like expedited service.
Yeah.
But I always tell my patients, and they expect like the Delta Sky Club experience.
Yeah.
So it's the red carpet when they come in, and we get them. We have a lot of busy professionals. And so we get them in and out. We try to do everything from check-in to appointment reminders, everything. So it's more time they can spend with the doctor.
Yeah, I love that. And, we got to tour your clinic before, and it is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, it definitely has that kind of, like you said, Delta Sky Club feel, and just the aesthetics and the energy is just very peaceful. So
thank you. I love it.
So I'm sure your patients feel that too. So tell me a little bit more about Modpod and really
when did you get that idea and why did you choose that name and the inspiration behind it?
It actually started about 8 years ago. My first foot care line was called Doc Kelly's Apothecary.
Wow.
So Dr. Kelly was my grandfather and a podiatrist. So I grew up in his office. I think I started there when I was about 12.
Wow.
And so he would always have me go in the back room and get in these big vats and make these little small like apothecary tins of vitamin E and lanolin. He would like hand blend these for his patients. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Kind of like what compounding pharmacies do now, but they're more into the heavy medicated prescription strength stuff. So I wanted to take that concept. At the time, I was busy in the clinic. I just really didn't have time to dedicate to make it. And social media wasn't what it is now 8 years ago.
No.
I think there was Twitter. I don't tweet,
Facebook,
so I don't know.
maybe.
Facebook for sure. Definitely no Instagram, YouTube, all that was just kind of getting started. So to market this was pretty challenging.
Yeah.
So you're basically shoe leather marketing. And honestly, I just didn't have the time for it. My sourcing was really bad. And now I'm like, I really like this idea.
Yeah.
And my cousin, who is amazing, Sarah, she is a graphic designer, but she's also head of my marketing team. And she's like, you know what, Nicole, let's revisit this idea. I love it. I feel like we could do it. We can do it right with all the capabilities that we have now for shopping online and whatnot. So we went back, and about 18 months ago, we started working on logos. And she's like, I think we should, drop the Doc Kellys. The story is still there. That is the same, but you're not an apothecary. You're not old school. So let's make it modern. And that's kind of how the whole thing started. And
I love it. Yeah.
It snowballed. Like I had no idea this early that it would be this popular. I'm not even kidding you. I'm like blown away. It's just like, is this really happening? Pinch me type kind of feel. It's amazing.
Yeah. So when did it launch?
It launched in the office 2 months ago.
Wow.
And so we've not been able, like I was telling you, to keep it on the shelves. I'm just shocked that people love it so much, and word of mouth. They're sending their friends in that just come and pick it up, and they're not even patients.
Yeah.
So we launched live last Monday. So it's modernpodiatrist.com. You can go online, Shopify accounts that'll be drop shipped directly to you.
I love it.
And we're doing all kinds of like fun packaging, especially for like seasonally, so good gifts and things like that. So we've got, I think, 9 products on there, but I've got a few others in the works that will be rolled out later on this year.
All right, Glow Getters. So if you need some really good body care, foot care, Modpod. And then how do we find you on social media?
Social media. So Modern Podiatrist is our Facebook.
Okay, perfect.
And Instagram name. Specifically for this brand.
I love it. So what is the vision for, it just started. Where would you love to see this go?
That's an excellent question. Right now, I just feel like I'm hanging on with this kind of unexpected success so soon. But where you have like a chiropractic care, like you're in the airport, you need this quick service. So I would love to do something like that for podiatry.
Yeah.
Come in, get what you need. Let me get you better, kind of fix your feet fast.
Yeah.
Because, and do
We're
a lot of
it.
We're on the go.
Yeah.
And then what we don't have to do in the clinic, do it virtually.
I love it.
Kind of being a virtual doctor and coming into your home at your convenience.
Oh, I love that. So tell me did you know you wanted to be a podiatrist, and when did you know you wanted to do that?
I did. When I was 12, and this is a funny story. So not a lot of people know that I have a heart condition called hyperadrenergic postural orthostatic tachycardic syndrome.
Okay.
HPOTS for short, which I'm very sensitive to sun. So I did not know at the time. It really wasn't a diagnosis type thing back in the early 80s. It just causes you in extreme heat, you pass out. Well, Kentucky summers are very hot.
Yeah.
I grew up on a horse farm. We had a garden for 50,000 people because my dad is one of 14.
Wow.
So we were constantly out there, my brother and I, picking beans and kale and doing all that. Essentially, I was like always trying to get into the air conditioning. Well, my grandfather's practice, his podiatry practice, was air conditioned. So I had a newfound love for podiatry. Plus, I got to hang out with my grandpa. So that was amazing too. So initially it started to get out of gardening. Yeah. Which is kind of crazy, right?
That's so funny because my dad's one of 13.
Really?
Yes, one of 13. And he's his second to youngest. And then same thing, like with me and my brothers, we'd be out like tilling and gardening. And my thing was always, as soon as I get out, I have to go use the restroom.
Right.
And they're looking at, where'd India go?
I tell my brother, I'm like, don't you want some like lemonade? Doesn't some lemonade, cold lemonade? He's like, sure. Then he'd come up from the garden and be like, oh, you're in here watching The Price is Right with Bob Barker. What happened to my lemonade?
Yeah. You're like, oh, right.
Exactly. Oops.
So did you know you wanted to have your own practice when you started?
I did. I started at that, not at 12, but shortly after, collecting information. And I would go to other podiatry offices such as Jane Grebner in Columbus through my grandfather's colleagues and go hang out for a while, go hang out for a month or so and come back in. And so I'm like constantly collecting information, how I wanted my vision for the practice to be at a very young age. So I was 100%. I knew exactly what I wanted when I came out.
And that is amazing to have, because so many of us, right, we lack vision, we lack that internal drive. And I find that, I see a lot of qualities that I have kind of in yourself, like a mirror. And it's, beautiful to have that vision. So what was your vision? Let's say when you graduated, when you first started your practice, what was your vision?
I wanted to feel like a family. Number one, not only for my employees and my staff, we call them team members. We don't even call them employees. And I wanted it to feel like that for patients. I am the antithesis of a doctor. I despise the white coat. I think it's obviously very scary to children, but also I feel like there's some type of this clout that people kind of feel, especially, surgeons and things like that. So I just don't agree with any of that, because that's not me. Technically, this is a job. We love what we do. I don't need a piece of clothing to make myself feel better. So very kind of warm and welcoming, and just that we're real people. And you're telling me your problems, and I'm going to fix you as fast as I can, the best I can, and get you back to what you want to do, because I get it. I'm active. Don't hold me down. I need a horse tranquilizer if I ever have an injury. So that was my vision, a very comfortable, safe, familial kind of space.
Yeah. And it is. So you have a new clinic space you're currently working on. So tell us about that.
Well, this is in the works. So I had a vision of doubling the practice size. The space is almost done. We've got 14 more exam rooms going up in there. And I was just going to double my doctors.
And when was that?
That was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday.
Wow.
And then I watched an amazing webinar last night, and it kind of really changed how I think I might want the practice to go in the future. I like the idea of diversifying. And then talking to you before we started recording, you were already saying these same things. So I feel like there's some type of divine intervention where I may be thinking down the wrong way. So, and it gives me chills just feeling that, because I find all too often, we keep trying to rework the same thing, right? And what is insanity? It's doing the same thing over again in different ways, right? Absolutely.
And so it's, how can we shift and go out from a bird's eye point of view and say, does this align with the vision I have for myself and my practice and my team and my patients? And at the same time, is there another way? And be open to that way.
Absolutely. You asked me, how did I know, what was my vision for the practice? The one thing I knew and know now is just to be different. Just don't do what everyone else is doing. Swim up the stream. Don't swim with everybody else, because your patients, you're just one in a trillion. I mean, we are a dime a dozen. So we've really got to figure out a way to make ourselves separate from the rest of the pack and make it a unique experience for them. So they'll want to come back and refer patients to you. Yeah.
And that completely resonates everything you said, where simple things like shifting from employees to team, right? Team members, and the feel that when you walk in, it doesn't look like a sterile, cold office space, but like a warm, cozy, welcoming, just a place you want to come, right? To enjoy.
I want to feel like home.
Yeah.
You know, we put, pictures of all of our doctors on the wall and just kind of make it feel like you would be in your own living room as much as we can. Yeah.
And I love when patients come up, in our clinic space and they're like, wow, this does not look like a doctor's office. And I'm like,
thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. That warms your heart. So little things like that. So going back to your vision, I know, there's a lot of uncertainty with things that are going on right now. And I think we were hit with the pandemic last year, and that really caused a lot of us to pivot, right? And to take inventory and reassess. Would you say that your vision changed did COVID affect how your vision was for the practice?
We got really lucky in terms of the vision and the direction with our sector. We're essential. We had to scale back a bit. What was the most eye-opening, and I'm sure a lot of other business owners in every sector experienced this, it really showed you who your loyal employees were.
Yeah.
They kind of, we lost 5 almost overnight with a simple request to pay them an hour to do work from home. And like, no, we don't have to do that. The government said, I'm like, we're going to pay you for 1 hour. And this is like a manager.
Yeah.
Our manager, one of them. It's like, we want you to continue to train. Let's take this time to learn.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nope, I don't have to do it. And so that was just like really out of left field. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
But everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
So it's such a blessing in disguise, because out with the old and the new ones coming in are just like, I get it. I want to be here. I love this culture.
Yes.
So,
and I love the word culture, because that's what it is, right? Workplace culture and how we feel when we walk in, right? And when we're treating patients, and that gets transferred to our patients and our care.
Absolutely. I really try to model a lot of our practice around Disney. I went to an institute, a course there, and you can go. It's wonderful. It's very, very expensive, but you get a lot out of it. But it really teaches you about all of the senses. So you don't know really why you like this place so much, because you can't put your one finger on it. It's just a feel.
Yeah.
And that's why they create that. I mean, that's what they do better than anybody. So I thought...
And it makes sense. And I loved what you said about feeling, right? And that's what I find. We're not taught how to feel. We're taught how to think. We're taught what to think and what to think about, but we're not taught how to feel. And when we shift to that, we can pause and say, hey, this is not working for me, or is this working for me? Or what could work better for me?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So along those same lines, we were talking about how aesthetics, plays a role. And can you serve your patients from a different perspective? And what are your thoughts on that?
I am definitely open to any idea. I love it when people come to me with new ideas.
Yeah.
I try to put people at my table and in the office here. Anyone that is creative, I never say no. I will test anything. And if you think this is a great idea, and maybe in the past years we've failed at it, well, let's revisit. And I want you to work it up entirely from every aspect of it. And we'll just do it.
Yeah.
Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I have to surround myself with people that are constantly giving me kind of that energy to be creative and think outside the box.
Yeah.
And
Can't be stagnant.
No, that drives me crazy. I get too bored.
Me too. I was like, well, time to think up something new.
Of course.
So, right, skincare comes out, or
I love
the podcast comes out, right? And you do YouTube videos, correct?
We do a few. Yes, if you watch our YouTube channel, we've got over, I think, 200 and I don't even know, 25,000 subscribers at this point, and it's growing
and
every day.
And when did you start that?
We started about 4 years ago, but it wasn't until I think about 18 months, 2 years ago, we got serious. COVID actually was a blessing in disguise for us personally, because it allowed us to sit down. We didn't have as many patients coming in. We really had to look at every aspect of the business and what we need to tweak. Where are our numbers? What's doing well? What's not? And then that's whenever it's like we could still reach our patients through YouTube. Yeah. We could educate them. So let's really give this.
I love that.
Some more energy, and then it just came back tenfold.
So where can we find you?
It's under Lexington Podiatry for YouTube, and then for Instagram and our upcoming podcast, it's going to be Foot Doc Talk.
I love that.
Isn't that cute? That's perfect. And we've had that handle for years.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
That's our blog name.
We want to know about Foot Talk.
Exactly, all things feet
from the doc.
From a doc.
So, and I think, with YouTube, that's where people want to go. They want to see, they want to watch, they want to connect, and they want to learn, right? And they want to learn things that they can learn from the convenience of their home.
Absolutely. I was surprised how many patients we got from YouTube.
Really?
I did not expect, because, you're just talking into a cloud.
Yeah.
And it's weird when you start filming because no one's on the other end. And we as clinicians, we're used to kind of people giving us energy back, and we know how to react and where to go. And like you said, pivot. With the YouTube, it's just a phone. You're looking at yourself, which is really weird to do, by the way. And so once we start getting feedback, I get these great comments from all over the world. Hey, you mentioned this. I didn't know I had that. Now I'm treated and I feel great. And it's been a problem for 20 years. I'm like, this is really changing people's lives. I mean,
absolutely.
There's no better feeling in the world than that.
Yeah. And you're doing it right. Like, you never know. And this is what I say to, the girls, or when we're recording, it's, you never know who your message will reach. And it's going to reach someone who needs to hear those words in that moment, in that time, and make a shift from there. And so all the more reason for me, it's all about creative expression, and to really use what our divine voice is and all the thoughts and knowledge that we have, and share it with people, share freely, because now's the time to do it, right?
Absolutely.
So tell me typically, like, what's your typical day like?
I wake up about 6:45. I have coffee in bed, snuggle with my kitties, and then I work out for an hour, and I get to at work at 10 o'clock, kind of take care of myself first, get the health aspect and kind of get clarity there. And I come in and I'm here till about 5. Yeah. Go home and hang out with my husband. We don't have kids. So of course we've got our cats again.
And how many cats do you have?
We have 2.
And how old are they?
They are 19 and 13, and they're both on death's door. Aww. I know, right? So anyway, I have a glass of wine with him. We have dinner and then just relax and kind of decompress and get like that energy back. So in the morning you wake up, you're fresh. And sometimes I'm like, okay, here we go. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat, because it gets so...
Well, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving pieces, and the question is, how do we stay grounded while we are expanding?
How can you teach me that? I need a lesson.
I have a few tips.
I am all ears,
because I find I'm also being a visionary, big thinker. Shifting from being a thinker to a doer is a big part of it. But along with that, we can only do more. We can only expand if we're stable. And we're stable when we know how to ground. So how can we ground in a quick moment in running in between rooms? You have 2 minutes. What can we do to reconnect with ourselves, right? Like, and then show up for our patients. And there's simple things that, whether it's taking a deep breath or feeling your feet on the ground, and rooting and just drawing energy out.
Mine is definitely the ocean, water. Yeah. I used to, when I was a solo practitioner, I would work after I was out 3 to 5 years. I don't even remember. I would work 6 weeks, like just boom, 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 boom. And then I'd go to the beach for a week. I mean, I should have, the amount of money I've spent in Mexico was ridiculous, but you can be there in 2 hours. So it made sense. So that's like my happy place. Yeah. Looking at the water, I'm like, that's where I feel, grounded and at peace. But we're in Kentucky. We're a little landlocked.
So bring you can get those little recorders that play ocean water. Yes. We got them for the rooms, and you can play, like, so it has ocean, it has like dead noise. I don't like that. It makes me think of being on an airplane. I like the forest or the Amazon. Like it sounds like you're in.
I like that. We have speakers in the entire office. I can just change the channel.
And you can choose what you want to listen to.
Oh, yeah.
So we're doing surgery. I'm like, oh, did you guys know that we're actually performing your surgery from the Amazon?
That's cute. When we had it on spa music before, we were having a hard time staying kind of keeping our pace. It was like almost too relaxing. And we were just kind of dragging ourselves around here. Any issues with that?
No, I find, so it depends. I think, do they play in the patient rooms? So, I mean, I think you could shift what you're playing, or maybe there's certain spa music that's more, right, like really puts you to like sleep, or ones that are just more calming and energizing.
Like your intro. Yeah. It's kind of like upbeat. And you're like, okay, I'm excited. I'm ready to listen.
It's fun.
That's how I felt. Exactly. It's fun, but it's still relaxing.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you can play that and you can change it up. And when you need pause, put some motion music on.
Yeah. I like it. I can do that. Okay. Thank you for the tip.
You are welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So tell me a little bit about, what business management tips do you have for us?
Business management. Number one, and this is the easiest one, you got to have thick skin. Be prepared for whatever's coming your way. You're going to fail a lot. And just stick with it. I see a lot of people that come out and they give up so quickly. If it's lack of confidence or lack of like clear vision, and they're just kind of just unfocused. And I feel like at the beginning, especially when you're building it, it is your life.
It is.
So if you're trying to have a new baby and move and do all of these things, this is your 24/7.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Job.
I mean, we're going into, it'll be 5 years. November 2017 is when we started. So yeah, it was your everything.
Yeah, you can't be in two places at one time, and mentally you can't be thinking about what you need to be doing for the office.
You can learn how to be mentally.
But yes, I know you're going to be really teaching me here. Well, now, I mean, because that was at the beginning, but now, fortunately, I've got Dr. Carter, who's my partner, and really kind of does the operations part. So I get to continue to be the visionary and test all this new fun stuff out. And she gets to take care of the day-to-day stuff. But I would, thick skin would be my first one, because be prepared.
Okay.
Now, if you're going with the stream, what everybody else is doing, you'll be fine. If you're headed the different direction and you're not towing the line with what the doctors or whoever it would be have been doing for years and years and years, you're automatically kind of an outcast.
So can you tell me more about that? Like, what has been your experience?
The welcome committee, you could say, wasn't the most warming.
And what is the welcome committee?
Just in your town or in your state or whatnot. I mean, I had some who were wonderful, and then others, they always, you got the haters out there, but you got them everywhere. And it is no different in podiatry or dermatology or whatever it is. You've got people that if you see someone doing something different, they don't necessarily like it. So, and when you don't have a name, you don't have a reputation, that can kind of really wear on you. So that was kind of like, all right. And so I was out to prove something. Essentially, I'm like, I'm going to show them.
Yeah.
And that kind of just like fueled the fire and gave me more motivation. So probably wasn't the best idea.
Give or take, right? We learn from it.
You need a definite 100%, like we keep talking about vision. You got to know your end goal and never take your eye off the prize.
Yeah. And I always say, be open to the vision shifting.
Absolutely.
As I think that's been a big thing. You go in starting, this is exactly how I want it to be. Things change, life changes, right? We change. And being able to go with that flow and that flexibility and redefine what we truly desire for ourselves in our lives and the people that we spend time with.
And it's okay. People beat themselves up whenever they change. And I'm just like, this is, like you said, this is life.
This is life. And I think if there's any lesson from COVID, I agree for us, it gave us time to pause, gave me time to pause where I didn't have pause in my life and I didn't know how to pause. And I was able to say, hey, let's look at everything and what can we do better? How can we start training? And this is when we launched our skincare. And then the idea for the podcast started then because we had time. And time is the number one thing that is priceless.
100%. And that is my vision. It's like, yes, I'm a podiatrist. Yes, I have a podiatry practice. But the number one goal is to have time, just because my dad is second from the oldest. And so he worked my entire life. He still does. He's 73.
Wow.
And every day. And it's like, geez, Dad, I don't want to be like that because I just see he's very in shape. But it's mentally draining.
It does.
And he doesn't have time for much of anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I knew I didn't want to be married to my job per se.
Yeah, I love that. And what do your siblings do? Like, are you close with your siblings?
I have one brother. He's a couple years older. He's in the same industry as my dad is. He has his own company as well. And so he works around the clock now because he's getting everything going and getting all of his things set up and just building.
That's what it takes for being an entrepreneur.
Exactly. And so he's prepared whenever he can to take a step back and just enjoy life and really kind of be realistic about work, because most of us are very unrealistic about what people expect from us.
Yeah.
We're not that important.
No.
We make ourselves feel like we're more important.
Yeah, it's true. And I think we also aren't true with ourselves in that way, right? Of what we... right? Especially if you're a high achiever, high performer, visionary, doer, entrepreneur, you expect a lot out of yourself, right?
Mhm.
I know I do.
Yeah, Rob, my husband, is always like, Nicole, you need to turn it off.
Yeah.
He's like, stop. But the thing is like, sometimes it's you can't.
You can't.
So I'm in the process of learning how to turn it off,
Yeah.
which
We'll talk about
okay.
that. Yeah. And I think so. Yeah, I think that's in one of our episodes we just talked about like the art of or the myth of busyness. How there's a perception that we always have to be doing something, and especially when you have a lot to do, you want to multitask and multitask.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big multitasker.
Mm-hmm.
But what I find is we have to learn how to close the tabs.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that's taking that mental reprieve, how can we do that in a given moment where we're still there, but we're basically turning off.
Mm-hmm.
And how can we turn off in a split moment and then come back and not need 30 minutes or an hour or 3 days? How can we do it in 5 minutes, right?
Absolutely.
And I think, honestly, presencing and feeling, if you're being a big feeler, come into your body. So whatever you're doing, pause, feel into your body. And from there, you can see what you're feeling. And is that how you want to feel? And if it's not, what do you want to feel like? And shift it to that.
Mm-hmm.
And learning to do that in less time is
almost like a frontal lobe, a conscious awareness.
Oh, it's complete awareness. And I think I still do a lot of yoga, but yoga used to be the primary thing. And I loved it because I could feel every part of the muscle, the body, whatever you're doing, full on. So how can we take that awareness sitting right here, right now, right? Where I'm sitting cross-legged, one foot's on the floor. I feel that foot grounding in, right? But I'm still connected with you,
mm-hmm.
right? And I'm speaking and I feel like my vocal cords going,
mm-hmm.
but I'm still connected and I'm still there with you. How can we do that while, right, thinking of, is the mic still recording, right? But
mm-hmm.
I'm still there,
mm-hmm.
right? And how can then we come back to say, okay, I still feel that foot grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm sitting on this chair.
You have amazing connection with your brain versus with your body. Most people, there's a complete disconnect.
Exactly, because that's how we're not taught how to do that. And I think for me, taking off these bracelets that are like clinging, I had to teach myself to feel. So during COVID, I went through what I'll say is a spiritual awakening per se. And I literally did not know how to feel. And I would have defined myself as being definitely a doer, someone who takes action, a thinker, very logical, had to learn how to get thick skin and have that masculine energy, which mm-hmm. is what's needed, and lead with that. But I had to learn how to shift to that feminine, flowy, present, sensual, feeling energy. And I didn't know how to do it. So literally what I did is got my phone and I put on my background, feel, like in big letters. I designed my own thing on Canva in a color that I loved, which was this bright magenta. So every time we pick up our phone, right, we're mm-hmm. getting messages. So put a message that you want, you're working towards. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it was feel. I didn't know how to feel anything. So whenever I'd pick up, I'd be like, oh, feel. And I'd be like, okay, I feel the heaviness of this phone in my hand. Mm-hmm. Okay, I feel my hair on my, whatever it is. And then continue on.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. My cousin is a chiropractor, and he's constantly like, Nicole, he's trying to teach me how to breathe. He's like, I don't think you know how to take a breath because everything is above the diaphragm. It's like short breath. He's like, okay. Always like, okay, deep belly breathe. I'm like, and then I had my primary care doctor, and I went to like a holistic one, and she's like, Nicole, you don't know how to breathe. I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this a thing?
Yeah,
apparently
it is a thing, and whether we're doing belly breaths or chest breathing, it's the same thing. I feel it's hard to transition into belly breathing, being a female, and if you're dressed up, because you have to push your stomach out, and we don't walk around holding our guts out, we hold our guts in.
Yes. No, agreed.
So in a dress, doing a belly breathing does not look elegant.
No, not at all.
All right, guys, and now from a message from one of our sponsors, Skin Better Science. In 2016, Skin Better Science set out to create a new paradigm in skincare to help patients like our glow getters achieve beautiful skin. I love that all of their products are free of fragrance and dyes, gluten-free, paraben-free, and cruelty-free. Their complex science-based products make for a simplified regimen for our clients, and results can be seen in as little as 4 weeks. I look forward to sharing more about their individual products in the upcoming podcasts. Now, some of my personal favorite products includes Alto Defense, which contains 19 different antioxidants to combat the aging process. I also love their compact SPF and SPF sticks. Their award-winning products are backed by a diverse team with decades of experience in clinical research and development, such as powerhouse products like filler neuromodulators, Restylane, and Dysport. And they're furthered by a continued commitment to the study of skincare science and the introduction of new technologies. Their research focuses on testing the efficacy and tolerability of their final formulations, emphasized on clinical studies conducted by board-certified physicians. Now, if you're ready to try out Skin Better, check out their Instagram at SKINBETTER. That's at Skin Better on Instagram. And check out this link to order your first set of Skin Better products today. https://skinbetter.pro-drvskin.
Let's segue and we'll do a little centering, and I'll kind of maybe guide you through at least a quick thing that I do to bring me back into a present moment and feeling, and then we'll pick back up.
Okay,
perfect. So we'll get both feet on the ground. Okay. And for our glow getters that are listening, wherever you are, I invite you to pause. If you're driving, you can keep driving slowly or pull over if you feel inclined to. If you're at work, find a quiet place. If you're at home, maybe go into a room by yourself and take the next few minutes for yourself, because we all need that. So you can come back and give it 120%. So wherever you're at, I invite you to close your eyes and just take a deep breath in and exhale. Now I want you to take a deep breath in, but I want you to feel your stomach expanding. And exhale that out. And now I want you to take a deep breath from your chest. And let that out. And see how that feels differently than when you breathe with your stomach. How much more oxygen comes in. Now I want you to feel your feet on the ground. Think about how much your feet do for you. They carry you all around the world, your world, and they hold you up. They give you grounding and stability, but they give you movement. And I just want you to feel into how grateful we are to have 2 feet that can do so much. And from there, just extend that gratitude upward for your body, for your heart, for your soul, and your mind, and for your love and your passion. And just feel that gratitude for how much you want to bring to the world and how much you want to bring for yourself and the people you love. And just let that gratitude and that feeling swirl around you. And now I want you to bring to mind a vision of what makes you feel most in flow, where you feel calm, yet capable, inspired, and energized. I want you to feel and breathe into that vision. And what are you doing? What are you wearing? How is your hair? Who's sitting next to you or in the room next to you? I want you to take another deep breath in there. Are you indoors or outdoors? Is it hot or is it cold? Just breathe into this space. And just enjoy the feeling of absolute peace and love. I want you to take another deep breath in. And let it out. And in this next deep breath, I want you to extend that love and that peace that you're feeling into the space around you. From that space into the building you're in, and into the city you're in, and then into the state you're in, and then into your country, and then the world. I want you to feel your feet on the ground again. And come back to the gratitude. Take another final deep breath in and exhale. When you feel ready and called to, you can open your eyes. Welcome back.
Thank you. That felt great. It was like a little mini massage.
Right? I can feel a lot of your energy is intense and it flows out a lot from your heart center. You have a lot of passion, very vibrant colors, and just radiates all around. Yeah.
I had someone say to me recently, they were here working and she's like, my brother met you. And within the first 30 minutes, he said, you know what? You need to tie your star to hers. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
To have that within such a short period of time. And my husband on the other end, he's like holding my feet as I'm jumping. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's putting my feet back on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do all of this.
No,
you've got to be realistic
Yeah.
about, your expectations of yourself. And
absolutely. And sometimes I think it's a give and take, it's a balance. And I think the more you pause and follow that feeling, like that's what guides you when logic does not. And this is a place where we're driven by, as a medical doctor, it's logical thinking. You assimilate all the patterns and the symptoms and, right? This is what it is and this is what you do.
Sure.
But in this other state of leading and vision and dreaming and doing, you have your logic, but how can we feel that flowy, feeling, sensual side, which is where our creativity comes from. And from there, bring back our logic to then let all the pieces come in. But follow the feeling, right?
Follow the feeling. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's literally all it is. And I think, especially when you're intuitive and you know how you want to feel, you know how to lead, it's trusting that and trusting yourself even more and doing that, like with your Modpod, like just the smell of when you open the cabinets was so intoxicating, literally. And it's right. It's like simple things like that, right, where it brings you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I tell Rep, I'm like, this isn't reality. Like, what I'm doing here is not. I'm not living in the real world, and I'm very aware that I'm not. But I'm just trying to figure out ways that I can kind of keep everything organized, keep it going, keep down the path and the vision I have for all these different segues, but still try to like self-preserve. That's the hard part.
Well, state the first part one more time for me.
As far as the segues, like I'm just trying to kind of keep it all organized and keep it flowing.
Where you said that this isn't reality.
Oh, yes.
What do you mean? What is reality?
Exactly.
What is it?
Great question. It just doesn't feel real sometimes. All these things that are either happening or
will happen
or just, this place is massive.
Yeah,
it is. It's massive.
A huge building.
We got 37 people, on our payroll. Yeah. And so when I say it's not reality, it's almost like this isn't really me type thing. It's like I am this person, but in reality, I'm a little farm girl. Yeah. In my mind, I think that we still kind of revert back to how we feel and how I feel internally. Like I'm 8 years old. Yeah. Yeah. But you're like, wait, no, but I have all this thing. I have all these people and I'm a physician. I'm taking care and I'm leading these, the people that you work with. It's a conscious effort every day to be motivating to anyone I come in contact with here. Yeah. Or if I'm talking to on the phone, obviously patients. So you're kind of constantly always like trying to bring these people up because that's our job. And we were talking earlier, like you give all of your energy.
Yeah.
I mean, you give them every ounce. And I know not a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's rare, but to find you, you're like a unicorn, you know?
Well, likewise, which is funny how we're here recording. And I think it's true. You know, I think part of it is that for me, just bringing that we're, again, it's all this duality, this polarity, this left-sided versus right brain thinking, and how we're supposed to be in the workplace, how we are supposed to be as a woman, like as a female. But I don't like to say gender per se. I like to use more energies, how we are drawing on more masculine energy in the workplace, because that's how the paradigm was. But that paradigm does not work anymore. People do not want to feel that rough
dictatorship.
No, they don't want that. And that really ultra structured way of being. Structure is really important. We need a strong foundation, but we thrive in a nurturing place. And that's where now shifting to bringing the feminine in with that masculine in terms of how you're leading your life, your business, you know, your relationships, it changes everything. And so when you say, this isn't me, I'm that, right? You're like, I'm still that farm girl.
Yeah.
But what we perceive, right? It's all perception.
Totally.
Reality, what is reality? It's just what we perceive it to be. And yes, you are that farm girl, but yes, you are this really powerful woman who's doing all these incredible things because you want to and you feel called to, and that is your purpose, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And so coming back to when we say vision, what would you say is your mission for your life? Or like, do you have a life? Like, some people don't.
My goal by age 50, so I have 7 years, to really be able to step back in my day-to-day. One of the things that I value the most, like I said, is time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, having patients scheduled and you're so regimented. And so when I get home, it takes me a solid 2 hours to get out of this pace because the majority of the time we don't sit down here.
Yeah.
We may get 5 to 10 minutes. And my husband's like, well, you create that schedule.
Exactly.
You create this. But I'm thinking, honey, I'm working towards a goal. I got 7 years. And then I'm going to take a big step back. And then during those 7 years, I'm setting up all these other lines that I want to be involved with, but just not have to be like somewhere at a certain time. Like I hate outside of like clinic to be like, okay, the call's going to be at 10 and then we're going to have this at 11. And it drives me crazy because I'm like, no.
You need flow.
That's my time. No, you can't do that. I don't want one more appointment. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. And I think, why wait 7 years?
I like it.
Why not look at your schedule because and build in that time, whether it's you starting at 11, you ending an hour earlier, or why not give yourself a solid, well, usually we don't get a lunch break.
Forget lunch. We don't need it.
No, but why not build that in? No, really.
Well, this year in January, I went from 4 days. 2, 3. So that was kind of like a big.
Yeah, it is.
And so now, you know, I mean, having a partner here, it's like, I want to do my part of it. I don't want to, you know, not, you know, disappoint her. Essentially. So. And
I understand that.
Yeah.
So tell me about your husband, how long you've been married, and you said he grounds you and brings you down. And just about those dynamics.
So we've been together since basically met in 98 and got together in 2000. So we are now 21 years later. We got married 7 years after we were dating. He was with me through everything. So we were in college. Then we went to Cleveland to go to podiatry school, and he went and got an MBA and master's in accounting. And Tennessee, same thing. We're picking up degrees through residency, then Atlanta, and then we came back here. And he essentially floated the whole, I guess he supported us for the entire 2 years I first opened, because I made a critical mistake of hiring the wrong billing and credentialing company. And I didn't know it until I was 8 months into it. So I'm like, I've lost $80,000. I have $100,000 and I've lost 80.
Yeah.
So
and you have overhead. You're like, things are flowing.
I opened in October, literally a week after Lehman Brothers went out of business.
Wow. Wow.
So, but again, my vision's here.
Yeah.
Who's Lehman Brothers?
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect me and where I'm going. And Rob is where he's the financial guy. He's like, all right, you can do it. I never said no.
Yeah.
My aunt said it best to me a couple weeks ago. She's like, Rob really gave you a spine. And I was like, you know what? I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah. So yeah, he's my everything.
Yeah. And I think it's important to have that, right?
Essential. Essential. I mean, 100%. I wouldn't be here where I am today without him.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So when you're mentioning, when you say you want to take a step back at 50, what does that look like for you? What are you doing?
What I want to do is really, I love analytics. I love data. I mean, it's just something that calls to me. I love playing with the numbers and seeing this. It's almost like the stock market for me.
Yeah.
On all platforms.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to be able to come in and see patients when I want to, instead of like, you've got to do this. You have to.
You have to pay the bills.
I honestly just don't want to be needed.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't want, like you need to talk to this person. And I have a team member like, can you talk to me at lunch? Can you stay late? Can we do this? Can I call you on Saturday? And it's like, yes, I need to do that. But sometimes like the 30-some girls and guys, it wears you down. Yeah. You're just like, you know what? That's my time again. And here I am. It's not really my time.
Yeah. Yeah. You're giving a lot.
Yes.
Right. And part of it is you want to give, but how can we refill our cup, keep our cup full so that you can continue giving in the ways you want to give?
I feel like we kind of sacrifice our own sanity and comfort and everything to make sure everybody else is taken care of. And that's why we're doctors. We signed up for that. I had no idea that what would be needed outside of the clinic room.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, when you own the practice, right? Like that's a whole nother level of giving, right? Of making sure everything's taken care of.
Absolutely,
it's a lot. And so I find, when you're saying, you want to have, I love that of not being needed and being able to do it because you truly want to. You don't have to do it.
Yes,
and I think that's beautiful. Part of what came through was another big shift. So maybe tell me if you felt that. I find that gone are the times where we are meant to do things. I think that individual, like, I can do it as an entrepreneur. I'm going to do it. I'm the one that's going to do it. I have to do it. And I'm doing it. Right? To how can it shift to we are doing it? And how can we align with people, companies, businesses, right? That we love and support, do business with them because we're helping themselves while we're helping, right? Like ourselves. And we're not just doing it primarily for ourselves. And I think for me, part of a shift has been in terms of, okay, well, the people like that I order my supplies from to the big companies that I choose for whatever, how do I choose companies that align with my values and find people and create businesses with people who also believe a similar vision? Because then I'm not doing it alone. It's not all on me. I'm not in charge of the whole shebang, but I can take a piece of what I'm good at, the parts of where my strength is, and that person can take a part of what their strength is. And then together, we're now accomplishing more.
Yes.
And I think that's been a big shift. Yeah.
That was pivotal into taking from where I was as a solo practitioner. And then I, played around with a couple associates. They just didn't have the same vision, same mindset. And then Jamie Carter, who we went to podiatry school together, and we always had a connection. And it was just perfect time. Our forces came together. And so we complement each other so well. And then we've got Amy Barco, who's one of our associates. I mean, we're like the perfect trio. And then I've got Selena, my office manager, who takes care of everything, literally everything. So we've got a really good girl group, girl power here. We're all about supporting and empowering. So that has been, again, this part of my strategy, right? So I'm just kind of slowly working through, and you just flew to your vision like that. I mean, I don't know how you did that. I'm trying.
For my spiritual well-being, I find that we don't give ourselves permission to do it. It's actually what you were mentioned with your husband when you said, you make the schedule. We're putting the pressure on ourselves to say, we need to see this number of patients, or we need to do this at this time and accomplish all these things right now, here today, and plan it for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But because we're in charge, we're also in charge of when we can take a pause, how long that pause is, and really try to put boundaries in place to support that. So often I find we have great boundaries within ourselves outside of the clinic space, but how can we now, inside the clinic space, I feel like you walk in there, 50 people are going to come up and start asking you things. Yeah.
You see the blue line in my office.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason.
Yeah. But we can build that pause, or we can build those boundaries just like that in a more strategic way that's supportive and nurturing to what that vision is that you want by age 50, but implement many of those in today, like now.
To make the transition seamless. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah. And you don't have to space it out over 7 years to get there. You just think you have to, because that's just your paradigm that you're holding on to. Or maybe that's how, like, especially my dad's hardworking. He's a pediatrician, has his own practice, and he still does hospital rounds and is in the office. And I had to be like, Dad, why don't you just take Monday off? And he looks at me and he's like, are you crazy? Like, I'm going to take Monday off.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Like, why don't you eat for yourself? And he was like, and I was like, okay. Why don't you just take start in the afternoon? And he's like, I said, okay, just start an hour later. And he looks at me and he's like, okay, I can do that. But I had to give him permission to give himself permission to do it. And now he has Monday and Fridays off.
And that's why it's always in the back of my head. I'm always like, you're not that important. You're not that important. You don't need to do this. Yeah. So I'm consciously aware of it, but my brain is still, it's like I'm thinking like what I know, you know what I mean?
So now it's telling yourself, implant a new program where the program is, I need to take care of myself, my well-being. I need the flow. I need to feel in flow. If I feel stressed, this is not conducive for anyone or anything. And that is the focus. So then when you walk into a situation, you're like, no, not the feeling I want.
That was the driving force of upstairs.
Yeah.
It's just too busy down here.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like I told you, I've got my conference room, my doctor's office in there. I'm just like, I can't wait. So I'm trying to build it. But I mean, it's a work in progress.
It is. And I think that's how everything in life is. And it all, right? But I think, honestly, it's just planting the seed. And so my challenge for you, should you choose to accept, is see if what you want at age 50, you can implement some aspects of that now and make that timeline. I'm all about collapsing timelines. We can collapse timelines.
I love it.
We just have to know how to. You have to know how things operate, how we operate, how consciousness operates, and flow with it. So, that's what I would say.
We are the masters of our own destiny.
We are.
We just have to take the wheel.
Look at what you're doing here. That takes force. It takes power. It takes vision. It takes love. Like, you're doing it because you want something different for yourself and for your patients. You want them to feel like home. You want to feel like home. That is very special. And that takes intensity. And to me, intensity is a beautiful thing because that's how we accomplish really beautiful things. But now, how can we use that intensity to now refuel ourselves and do that? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, 100-fold.
I'm not sure you should have been a dermatologist here. I think you missed your calling, life coach.
That's what I wanted to do. If there was a point where I thought I wouldn't be going to med school. I thought I would never be a doctor. I was like, there goes that dream. And so I was like, well, what will I do? And I was like, I'll be a life coach.
I love it.
But I find we all need, I don't want to say coach, we all need guidance. And how can we can guide ourselves. We are intuitive beings. We just don't know how to listen to the cues that are coming from within, coming from our bodies. When we were saying, you're in tune with that psychosomatic connection, yes, I foster it. That is actually how I operate in the world, is from feeling. And I didn't know that. And so many of us do. If you're sensitive and if you're, right, like we operate from that. So how can we actually use that? To me, it's training. I'm training myself to feel and be and operate in that way, and tap into those skills and that intuition. And from there, yes, we need guides to guide us into doing it, until like riding a bike, until you're doing it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're already actually there. It's more taking off the training wheels and like just like allowing. We don't allow. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Especially if we're big givers, is how can we now receive? Like I always say, gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. So, right, like being rooted in that gratitude for whatever it is you want to do, that's going to set you up to receive it. And another big thing is think and feel as if you've already received it. So you're already not being needed and wanted. How does that feel?
It would feel great.
Like tomorrow's Monday. Like you don't need to be anywhere.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would feel really, really good. I can get up and do what I want.
Yeah.
That's where I'm really like that 50. I want to do what I want. Not that I don't want to work.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know that life.
Yeah.
I want to do something. It's just kind of maybe not so much of certain things.
So you hold the keys to that. And only thing that I want you to do it for the next 4 weeks. It takes 3 weeks to build a habit, they say. I say you can do it really fast, but you can do it like this if you want to.
Love it.
Is every day put a reminder on your phone or make your background, write out something that says whatever will speak to you, but I'm not needed or wanted, or whatever it is, a picture or 50, what you would feel like.
This is reality. That's what I'd be like, this is reality.
Okay, so that, and I want you to feel it. Now the key is feeling it. Feel every day, as many times a day as you can, as often as you can, that you already are there. Feel it and believe it and make that your reality.
I'm going to put it right up there on that dry erase board.
Yeah.
I like to see it.
Me too. I'm very visual, and the girls know, if they ever see my phone, I always change my background and my home screen, or the first screen, the lock screen, to what I need to, what I need to hear and what I need reminders, until it becomes ingrained and assimilated. And that's how we apply, right? That's how we embody something, is it becomes part of us. So I'll pick something, and until I'll keep, right? Because how many times you read it, and then I'm like, okay, finally. And then I change it when I'm like, okay, I don't need that reminder.
I like it. I will take you up on your offer.
Yeah, do it and feel it.
I will.
Practice it as much, and I say this many times, and just watch.
Okay. Well, I will keep you posted.
So, all right. So I always end with a final last couple questions. So I call them my 5-minute glow-ups.
Okay.
So you have 5 minutes. What do you do? They're really easy. Okay. What do you do for a snack?
Snack. Cheez-Its or blasted goldfish. Between the two. Okay. Anything salt.
Okay, perfect. All right. You have 5 minutes. What do you do to relax or unwind?
Have a glass of wine.
Perfect. What's your favorite?
Chateau Neuf de Pop or Côte d'Aron.
Okay, perfect. All right. You have 5 minutes. What do you do to get your heart rate up?
Exercise.
What do you do?
My God, I do a lot of HIIT workouts, a lot of weights.
Would you do some burpees?
Oh, yeah. I did them yesterday. That's like my mental.
Yeah, getting it. Yeah, likewise. Yeah. For me, I also add a second challenge. Add in some breath work.
Yes. See,
5 minutes. That's all.
That's like scary for me to even think about doing that. Because this sounds crazy, but I'm like listening to disturbed music in my, I'm like just ranging out.
Just 5 deep breaths. Okay. Just take 5 deep breaths. Really easy.
Okay, I can do that.
Count to 3, inhale, hold it, exhale. You don't need anything for it.
Okay, I can do that.
That's the thing. We always think, right? We think we make things out to be all these things. Oh, we need to have all, and it's true, I do it. But then I'm like, really? We don't.
We don't need to do that. I just created that in my own head.
Yeah.
I think I need to, but
Yeah.
again, that's not reality.
Exactly, right? Okay, I love it. And then, all right, so final 2 questions. So you have reached the end of your life, or let's say 50 came early.
Okay.
And you've accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish. You are not needed. You do things because you truly want to. Everything you're doing, you are doing with the absolute love and passion because you really want to and you care. No more messages, no more saying, what time is that at? Nothing. Modpod's taken off. It's in all these stores. Your podcast is doing amazingly. You love your new clinic space, and you've done everything you wanted to do. Traveled. You have one gift that you get to leave for people to find, and it can be anything. What would that one gift be?
Wow, that's a good one. One gift. And it does not have to be a physical.
It can be anything.
Yeah. I would definitely write down, or I would write a book on like motivating, yourself and, don't give up. You can do it. It doesn't matter where you come from, your circumstances. If you've got the drive and the heart, then you can accomplish anything.
Agreed.
So essentially it'd be like a book of quotes.
I love it. Okay. Well, that would be a special book. And my final question for you is, what does unleash your glow mean to you?
Unleash my glow? Wow. Golly. I was doing so good and I'm crashing and burning at the end. Unleash my glow. Well, I mean, this is very, very superficial, but I love my highlighter, but that's just a literal glow. I think to get out of your own head and let go of your insecurities and really embrace who you are. If you're, 3'2" or 6 foot, whatever, 11, just kind of be comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing that we're all not the same.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be a pretty boring world. So that's why I would just kind of like embrace who you are. And I think confidence is probably the most attractive quality that's out there. And if you can tap into that and just say to yourself, I'm good enough, or I am someone out there, is going to love me and I feel good, then that to me, the confidence would be releasing your glow.
Oh, I love that. Oh,
I'm going to have to listen to the rest of your podcast to hear what everyone else said.
I'm getting some really good answers. And everyone's a little caught off guard by the question.
Good. Well done.
So I said last question, but not last question because I have to know. Tell me 3 tips for walking. I need some foot care tips.
Absolutely. This is super easy. I got these. Number 1, pick a good shoe.
Okay.
Are
Vibrams good? 5 fingers?
No.
Oh, God.
Well, it's not.
I love my 5 finger
It depends on what you're doing in them. It depends on your foot type.
I have a high arch.
Okay.
I love being barefoot.
True. When you're very fit and you're young. Now add 20 years, a few pounds.
Oh, darn.
It starts, so it's not for everybody.
Okay.
So it's not a horrible shoe. It's always the right shoe for the right person, including the right foot type. It's not cookie cutter.
Okay.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot on our podcast, is shoe education, because on our YouTube channel, I can't get asked that question now.
Yeah. So then watch our YouTube, find it, foot education, and give us one more foot tip.
Definitely stretch.
Oh, I love it.
People want to stretch when they're injured. Yeah. And I tell them, I equate it to, listen, if you need to lose weight, then you need to eat healthy every day. Yeah. So it's not, so you eat healthy and then you lose the weight. If you go back to your old habits, or you're not prepared for it, and you're going to gain the weight back. So it's a daily thing, and you can do it so simply. I actually just recorded a video yesterday that will be uploaded on our YouTube channel about simple stretches that you can do while you're brushing your teeth or checking out the grocery store.
Yes.
So you don't have to sit down and make a big commitment to it. Easy.
Love it. I'm a big multitasker. I have to multitask while brushing my teeth, so I will add some foot stretches in.
Last night I was listening to one of my AirPods in my ear, a webinar, watching, and I don't even know why I was watching Formula One. Probably Rob had it on there. And I'm on my computer cleaning out my inbox. on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock. That's sad. I need help.
Well, that's why we're doing the podcast, right?
Right. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. This has been amazing. It's been an honor to have you on. Loved getting to know you, and just you have such incredible energy and spirit, and really just blessed and honored to be here. So thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Yes. All right, go-getters. Until next time.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode of the Glow Collective, I humbly invite you to take a conscious moment to keep this vision glowing. I would love for you to subscribe, rate, and leave us an honest review. And if this podcast resonates with you, share it with 3 or 4 of your family friends, tag me on Instagram at DRVSKIN, and let me know which words and messages really hit home for you. Let's get the message growing. And why? Because I really want you to glow. Our time is now, and this podcast is only made possible because of you, because I am called to give back to you and share these ideas, thoughts, and messages with all of you, my intrigued glow-getting listeners. We are high vibrational beings here to grow and feel. We are meant to create and perceive deeper experiences of connection and to ultimately enhance the level of love and joy in our relationships of our life. So this is a wrap to today's episode. I'm your host, Dr. V. Stay tuned for the upcoming episode of the Glow Collective, and let's live, love, and glow.